Hey guys, what's going on? My name's Akil, and I managed to watch the Batman pretty early, even though it only comes out tomorrow, so not that early. But anyway, I loved it. I absolutely loved it. It's not perfect though. And I'm a little bit sad by that because some people did say, "Oh, it's a masterpiece, 10 out of 10, 100%, whatever." But I really didn't want it to be. As long as it was at least not even a good movie, a great movie. If it was good, it would be a little bit disappointing, but I wish make it great, and it was Matt Reeves. You absolutely nailed it. You gave me probably the best incarnation of the character. However, I don't think it's perfect, and I'll explain why. But let's jump right into the pre-rating score. And for the pre-rating score for the Batman, it is a great movie. I mean, this is everything I wanted it to be and so much more. It didn't really exceed my expectations so much, but small little things, and I'll explain what that is when I talk about it. So yeah, so that's all I can say for my pre-rating score now, which is jump right into the story. And without really spoiling too much, I mean, what you've seen in the trailers, there's Riddle out there doing all this crazy stuff. Catwoman's involved, Penguin's also there, Carmine Falcone is also there, and of course, this is a Batman movie, so Batman is there. And this movie is like a mystery film, like a detective film. I mean, I guess that one the same, and it really did feel like that. It's not really a comic book movie, even though it is based off a comic book, but it feels less like the Dark Knight trilogy and more so like what people are saying, like a David Fincher film. Now, I haven't seen Seven, but I have seen Fight Club, and I have seen Zodiac, and I can see the inspirations that he's drawing from. However, there are some inspirations from the Nolan films that you can definitely see in this movie, especially like some moments of like how the Riddler is like doing all his like expressions and speeches did feel a bit like Heath Ledger's Joker, especially one scene which I won't spoil towards the end of the film, but I still loved it. It was still great. So without really spoiling too much, all these characters are involved. Riddler is sending all these cryptic clues around, and Batman has to try and figure out what's going on. And it was really well done. There are some moments I was like, oh wow, I didn't see that coming and all that. And I won't tell you what it is, who it involves, but it was quite interesting, and I was a bit taken back by it. But I wasn't like, oh my god, what? They're doing that? But there were moments actually, even towards the end, I was like, I just felt scared for the character Batman. I wouldn't spoil it, but if you watch the movie, you understand what I'm talking about. So yeah, and that's another thing I also wanted to say before I go into the positives very quickly, is that this is a year two Batman, so he's going to make mistakes, he's going to get himself hurt, and that's what I'll say about that. So now let's just jump right into the positives, and right off the bat, the acting from everyone is outstanding. Robert Pattinson, you, sir, you did a great job, and I'm calling you sir because you are now a sir because you are playing my favorite superhero. Now, you can say that I'm biased, but I'm generally speaking, for me personally, but I'm okay. Let me rephrase that. What I'm really trying to say is that Batman just holds a special place in my heart because he's a guy that has no superpowers, and the way he moves, the way he talks and interacts, there's something special about that. And he plays him with such ease, and he nails it. He doesn't do what Christian Bale does, which I still love Bale, but he has beaten Bale. He's now probably the best Batman we've ever had. And I feel like for this generation growing up in like the 2010s into the 2020s, this will be these kids' next Batman or new Batman, their favorite Batman. Because for me, it's still Christian Bale. Like, people grew up in my time in the 2000s or that. For some, it's probably Keaton and Clooney, maybe, and Kilmer. But for me, it's still Christian Bale. Ben Affleck is now number 3. As a matter of fact, I do like Keaton. Kilmer's okay, but Clooney, I don't even know. But Pattinson kills it. Zoe Kravitz as Catwoman, amazing. Colin Farrell as Penguin, amazing. Paul Dano as the Riddler. This is by far the best Batman villain I have ever seen since Heath Ledger's Joker. He's like now number 2. Is he as good as Heath Ledger's Joker? No, but there's something just special about it. And no, I'm not just being biased towards Heath Ledger's Joker. I'm serious. Like, he's the second best Batman villain in live action form that I've ever seen. And then, of course, there's John Turturro's Carmine Falcone. Really liked his performance. Andy Serkis isn't in the movie as much, but he still did a great job. And there's some other little surprises. There's one actor that I'm actually surprised they credited in the credits that I won't spoil, but I get why. Because they're teasing things in the future. And if you've seen the movie, you know exactly who I'm talking about. So yeah, so the acting overall was great. Now, Let's talk about another thing that stood out to me, the cinematography. This is a great looking movie and probably the best looking, maybe, Batman movie and one of the best looking superhero movies, if not maybe the best looking superhero movie I've ever seen. I mean, Eternals had great cinematography, but this film really does look like a great movie, and they absolutely nailed it. I love the cinematography of the movie. It's done very, very, very well. And one final thing, even though I can gush about the directing and the writing and this and that, one major positive I want to end off with for the positives before I quickly talk about the negatives because it's not much is the music. Michael Giacchino's score is amazing. Whenever the Batman theme plays, it's so good. This will be your new favorite Batman team. I can guarantee you it. Forget the Affleck team and even the Christian Bale team for a second. Like, that team is still my favorite. I still love that team, but what Michael Giacchino did in this movie is great. Catwoman's team was great. Riddler's team was great. I loved it all. It was so good, and it really fits the tone of this movie. I really like it. It has a classical jazzy type of feel. Not really super jazzy, but if you watch the movie and listen to the soundtrack as well, you know exactly what I mean. So yeah, now negatives. Unfortunately, this movie is not perfect. And the one issue I have is that it is a bit slow. Towards the beginning, I actually found it a bit slow, which is, I guess, kind of different for some people because maybe towards the end it dragged up. But no, I got more into it. This is by far the most invested I've ever been probably in a comic book movie. That excludes, my two favorite comic book movies of all time, which for me is Avengers and Dark Knight Rises. I know how that sounds to people, but I just think they're perfect movies on their own. But this film does struggle a bit with the pacing, and there are probably a few little nitpicks, but this is a great film. I adore this film. I do want to see it again, but I still want to digest it all. And obviously, there's so many other movies coming out, so I can't really think about watching this again at the moment. But I'm glad I saw this in the theater. It was great. I'm sad no one clapped at the end because if they did, I would have joined it because this movie deserves all the praise and applause that it gets. I loved it. This is my type of Batman movie, not just action, action, action. If you want that, go watch the Dark Knight trilogy. But they did the action very well, and I loved it. So overall, final score for the Batman 9 out of 10. I know, right? I'm just praising this movie. And look, you can say that I'm a Batman fanboy and whatever, but seriously, I just love this world and what Matt Reeves did with it is amazing. I can't wait for the sequel because a certain someone could be appearing in it and a certain someone else could also be appearing in. And if you watch a movie, you kind of know who one of them is. But anyway, I loved it. It was so, so good. It was amazing. So now you might be wondering what's next for reviews. Well, I'm going to be taking a break from YouTube a bit just because of uni classes starting next week and all that. But I do want to try and see the Adam Project coming up very soon on Netflix. Moon Knight's coming out at the end of the month. Halo's also coming out soon. So I'll be trying to watch all that stuff if I can. I'm taking a bit of a break from One Piece. Might start Stargate SG-1 Season 5. It's been like God knows how long since I finished Season 4. But anyway, I loved it. I absolutely loved this movie. It was really, really good. And I can't wait for more people to see. I can't wait for you guys watching this who haven't seen it, see it. Anyway, guys, that's all I have to say for now. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. My name's Akil, otherwise known as the Comic Director, and I'm signing out.